Hey y'all, it's Anime Cameron, and today I'm going to be reviewing episode 1 of Ahiru no Sora, and I gotta say, already this anime is setting itself up for some greatness, because it does a lot of things already that your typical sports series might not do. Like, for example, our main character is really darn short, especially for someone that plays basketball. Not to say being short prevents anyone from playing basketball at a high level, because you gotta remember there are instances in the NBA where there's like 5'3" players and they can still ball out, even though that kind of was like in the 90s. There are still some relatively short-sized players that can play in the NBA currently. Well, I guess there was Isaiah Thomas, but before the injury, he was able to play really well, and he was 5'8" or 9. So I kind of like that. So already it makes the main character feel like an underdog, and then when I also like how it kind of breaks cliches too, because in sports animes, on occasions you would see a main character ganged up by multiple douchebag characters, like in say some animes. Like in Ashita no Joe, you'd have Joe ganged up by multiple people, and he would pretty much annihilate them, even though in Ashita no Joe, a lot of the guys he was facing were like way taller than him. Or in say an anime like in Hinomaru Sumo, the main character would take on people that would bully him, you know? And then here, I kind of like how it makes you think with the main character determination. It's like, oh yeah, he's gonna beat these guys up, and then the next clip, no, he gets his ass beat. And I was like, yo. So I like how it takes typically a normal setup from that you would see in some sports animes where you think the main character is gonna beat up multiple guys up, but then no, it goes for the reality route, and no, he gets his ass whooped. But I like that though, because for one, even though it is comedy, it does give you a sense of his characterization, because that shows you that for one, he's got a lot of mental toughness and fortitude. And I love that. It was really sweet. And additionally, I like how after that story bit, he gets to know this dude with an afro who I believe his name is Chica. It's because this episode had like a lot of names going on, and it's probably gonna take you a bit to get used to these names, but he seemed like a cool dude though. And I like how you see this dude boast about how he's like tough when it comes to martial arts, and how he's super reflexive, and then he gets hit by a fucking toy device when he's not looking, and then he just falls in the water. And I like that, where this anime, it could have a character look freaking cool, then the next, they're put down a few pegs for comedic value. I really love it. So already, the script in this episode is vibrant. Then aside from that, what I also enjoyed about this episode was, when Sora does go to the school, he tries to practice on court, but then the guys that manage the students that manage the basketball team are a bunch of damn delinquents, and they beat the shit out of the main character. And I was like, damn, this is some intense ass shit. And they all talk smack because he's hella freaking short. And then our main character gets stuck in a room and all that. And I like how during moments like that, you get to find out kind of naturally certain details about him, like he's got like these shoes that were given to him by his mother, which this episode keeps on implying that she dies. So already I like that, because instead of already making our main character an underdog, I like how they're seemingly giving him a sad backdrop, so at least to me as an audience member, I can root for him even more. Like I was already down for rooting for him when he stood up to those bullies and he got his ass beat. But despite that, he didn't seem super scared. But with him having the possible backstory of his mother possibly dying, because I don't know, I don't read the manga, That's gonna be some intense ass shit. So already I do love elements like that. They're setting us up for some emotional moments. And I like how afterwards he gets out of that room due to the help of the afro-haired dude. And I like how here and there you kind of have some of the characters act like age in high school because while the main character didn't want to look at the female basketball team dressing up, the dude with the afro was all for looking at that kind of stuff. And I was just like, you see this in a lot of sports series, but it was still hilarious to see regardless. Like, you have a serious looking fucking dude actually go for it. I was like, oh boy. So I like that though. It's a nice way of subverting expectations. Taking a seemingly mature character and having them want to partake in peaking. So stuff like that made this episode lively from a script standpoint. And then I like how it ends off with our main character challenging 4 members of the basketball team and one girl from the female basketball team and essentially he has to score against 5 people. And I like how during this episode it had a lot of tension because it's like, damn, you want to root for this guy. And I like how they actually have like this camera angle where it's pointing like from the downward position of the main character so that he looks even smaller in comparison to his opponent. I really love that. It has sort of like a David versus Goliath type theme, you know? And oh man, I always love that kind of shit. And I like how this episode he gets past multiple people and then the episode ends up with him about to do a jump shot. I mean, kind of seemingly like a jump shot. So I was like, oh damn. I really love this. Already it ends up on an epic cliffhanger. Although I guess the cliffhanger is kind of spoiled in it on itself because in the ED you do see the main character go through his own phone and then he walks towards the members of the basketball club who are bullies, at least in this episode, a good amount of them. So yeah, we all know it's inevitable that the main character is going to join this basketball club. So I guess if I had a nitpick from the story standpoint, this would probably be one of the episodes where maybe they should not have shown the opening, but instead they should have had like one of those episodes with like a black credit themes with like white subtitles so that to at least really give some tension. You know, this would have been one of the few animes where it's like, okay, you're justified in using that, justified in not having the full opening just for the sake of suspense. But except for that, I thought it did everything else from the story beats, you know? Like, it already establishes a lot of intrigue and tension so far, and this is just the first episode alone, so that's why I felt it did phenomenal from a story standpoint. And aside from that, it did really well from the character standpoint. I like how with Sora, you see there are certain things really close to him, like his mother's shoes, and it was a pair of shoes that his mother gave to him when his mother still played basketball. So I love stuff like that, justifying why he's so protective of his shoes during this episode. So there are elements like that that really give some nice characterization to Sora. And aside from that, we get characterization that he's brave and that he's in a boy with ill intentions because he didn't want to see the girls dress up. He only peeked for a bit, but then he looked away. So I also like that, kind of giving him like an honorable like nature. So all these elements really make for a nice, dynamic, likable main character so far. And on top of that, the other characters are seemingly pretty nice. Madoka seemed pretty cool for the most part. I like her personality, even trying to warn Sora not to get involved with that basketball team in that school. That was pretty cool too, I gotta say. So I like her personality. And the personality of the apple-haired dude was pretty nice. Having like the attitude of being lazy as fuck, but they're at least respecting the tough attitude of our main character. So things like that really made this episode lively from a character standpoint. So gotta give it props to that too. Animation and art were pretty beautiful, I gotta say. You could tell the animators did their research because it literally felt like I was watching a basketball player when Sora was dribbling the ball. I was thoroughly impressed with like the realisticness of the animation, with the way the ball was just bouncing on the floor and all that. That looked pretty damn cool. And plus, with the short size, it actually will be harder for them to steal the ball from him. You know. So elements like that were pretty darn cool too, I gotta say. And then the art was beautiful too. So from a craftsmanship level, the animation team is doing a fantastic job. I gotta tip my invisible hat. And if they keep the animation quality this high, this is gonna be for a nice, engaging, dynamic sports series, which is gonna fill the void I felt when Captain Tsubasa ended earlier this year. I was like, man, I need a sports series to scratch that itch, and this came just in time. Because, damn, I was really going through some Captain Tsubasa withdrawals, you know? So, I love it. I love it. And as for our first episode, I'm going to rate this episode a 10 out of 10. Honestly. Because it did everything. You've got your underdog protagonist. He's already short. He has a seemingly sad backstory with the possible death of his mother. I mean, it doesn't really give us information on the condition of his mother, but I'm assuming she's probably dead because she looked like she was in the hospital then in the flashback sequences when Sora was younger. So all in all, I like that. It's already making you want to root for the main character and gain sympathy for him right off the bat. And the other characters are interesting too. So that's why I felt this episode was 10 out of 10 worthy. Because it's going to make you... And it even has a mystery factor of how in the hell is the main character going to do this, you know? With a short size. But I'm assuming there are a few ways they can do this. They're probably going to make the main character play the point guard position. And he's probably going to be a jump shooter. Because for one, with this size, he is going to need to be able to shoot the ball. At least that's the position I'm assuming he's going to play. Point guard. I mean, he's got the hops, and he's already got to the ball control abilities, so that you kind of need if you're a point guard. All things considered, they initiate the offense. So, yeah, as a basketball junkie, I'm fucking hyped up for it too. As you can see, I'm a Laker fan. And yeah, these are my thoughts on the episode, y'all. So be sure to comment your thoughts in the comment section below how you feel about the episode. Rate the video, subscribe. Oh, and if y'all want to mention what type of NBA basketball team you root for, or if y'all don't watch NBA and y'all just watch college basketball, comment down below which college basketball team y'all root for. And yeah, that's about it. So anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Have a great and safe day, and I'll see you guys later if you come back for more, because I'm definitely gonna be keeping up with this. Alright, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great and safe day. Oh, and of course, I recommend any of y'all to check this series out. It's pretty darn lit. Even for the non-basketball fans, I think this anime is going to have enough drama, just going off of this episode, to even engage non-basketball fans. Alright, y'all. Have a great and safe day. Bye-bye.